I hit the remote and my garage door rolled up, then stopped halfway with a sick metallic clank. And there it was, a white Lexus SUV parked dead center in my garage like it had been born there. For a second, I thought I was hallucinating from exhaustion. 12 hours rewiring a hospital wing, and this is what waits for me? Then I saw her, Karen, HOA treasurer, sunglasses at sunset, clipboard balanced on her knee while she sat in my patio chair, scrolling her phone like she owned the place. "Evening," she said without looking up. "My driveway's being resurfaced. HOA emergency clause allows temporary space use. I'm sure you're fine with that." My jaw clenched. "You're parked in my garage, Karen." She gave this little smirk that could curdle milk. "Well, we all have to cooperate for community harmony." I stared at her car, brand new, spotless, the kind of vehicle that's allergic to hard work. My workshop tools were pushed into a corner. The smell of oil and her perfume mixed like gasoline and arrogance. I lifted my phone, started recording. "So just to confirm," I said slowly, "you're admitting this rule doesn't exist and you're parking here anyway?" Her tone sharpened. "You can't record me," I smiled. "One-party consent, Karen, and we're standing on my property." If that felt satisfying, hit like, because right then, the power shifted. She just didn't know it yet. She huffed, grabbed her purse, and stomped off toward her house. The Lexus stayed. Its engine clicked softly, cooling off like it knew it was in trouble. I lowered the garage door halfway, stared at that luxury badge, and whispered, "All right, Karen, you want to play power games, let's play. Because that night, I didn't just close my garage, I opened a war." I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that Lexus glinting under the garage light like it was mocking me. By sunrise, I'd brewed enough coffee to power a city block. Then came the knock. 3 sharp taps, like she practiced them in front of a mirror. I opened the door and, surprise, there she was again. Karen. Same sunglasses, same attitude, now holding a folded sheet of paper like it was a royal decree. "Good morning, Jake," she said, all honey and venom. "Just following up about the garage situation. I filed a temporary parking notice with the HOA board. You'll see it's all official." I scanned the paper. It wasn't a notice. It was a memo she'd typed herself. No signatures, no legal header, just a wall of Karen logic. "You can't make your own rules," I said. "Oh, but I can enforce community standards," she replied, chin high. "You left your garage door open overnight. That's a visual nuisance. You'll receive a fine shortly." That's when I laughed, loudly. Probably the first genuine laugh I'd had in months. She parked her car in my garage and fined me for it. If that twist hit you like a slap, drop a comment right now, because even I couldn't believe the audacity. She frowned. "You think this is funny?" I nodded. "You have no idea how funny it's about to get." She blinked, thrown off for half a second, then spun on her heels and strutted away. The fine notice arrived 2 hours later, taped to my front door with bright yellow paper like a warning flag. "Failure to maintain community standards, $200 due in 48 hours. Below it, a handwritten note. "Maybe next time you'll be more cooperative. K." If that handwriting had a face, it would have been smirking. I didn't tear it down. I just smiled, folded it neatly, and pinned it on my workshop wall, right above my grandfather's old vice. Because the thing about people like Karen, they mistake quiet for weakness, and I was done being quiet. By noon, I'd had enough caffeine to rewire a satellite, so I called Derek, college buddy turned real estate lawyer. He picked up on the second ring. "What's up, man? You sound like someone stole your tools." "Close," I said. "Karen from the HOA stole my garage, then fined me for it." There was a long pause. Then he just started laughing. "She parked inside your garage? And fined you? Bro, that's harassment with sprinkles." "Glad you think it's funny," I said. "I've got a notice taped to my door like a scarlet letter." He whistled low. "Keep it. That's Exhibit A. Now listen, HOA authority only goes as far as their charter and insurance coverage. You need to pull their formation documents from county records. That's your ammo. That one call flipped a switch in my head. Up till then, I'd been reacting, but now I was plotting. If you've ever hit that moment where frustration turns into focus, hit like. You know exactly what that feels like. That night, I drove to the county office. The place smelled like old carpet and bureaucracy. After an hour of flipping through dusty binders, I found it. Willow Creek HOA Incorporation documents, 2017. And buried inside, a gem. Karen had never filed the renewal for board insurance. Translation: every fine, every rule, every power move, she was personally liable. I walked out of that office smiling so wide, people probably thought I'd won the lottery. But I didn't say a word to her. Not yet. Because sometimes silence is the loudest thing you can throw back. I spent the rest of the evening setting up a file. Photos, recordings, that fine notice. Every petty threat neatly documented. It wasn't revenge I was building. It was evidence. And while I was quietly stacking proof, Karen was already digging her own hole, one smug memo at a time. The next morning, the Lexus was still in my garage. 2 days, not even a text. Just sitting there like a monument to arrogance. I stared at it while sipping my coffee, half expecting it to talk. Instead, I grabbed my phone and took a full set of photo splates. VIN, location, timestamps. Evidence. Always evidence. Then I got an idea. If Karen wanted to play HOA politics, I'd hit her where it hurt. Her reputation. That afternoon, I walked down to Mrs. Patel's place 2 doors over. Sweet older lady loves gardening and neighborhood gossip. She didn't even let me finish before saying, "Oh, Karen's at it again?" Turns out she'd been fining half the street $50 here. $100 therefore made up decor violations. If that sounds familiar, comment Karen tax right now because apparently we were all paying it. I thanked Mrs. Patel, promised to handle it, and went back to my garage. Karen's Lexus gleamed under the light like it owned the room. I opened the door, stared at it, then quietly pressed the remote. Click. The door slid down, sealing it shut. I didn't touch the car, didn't scratch it, didn't even move it. I just locked it in. If that mental image made you grin, hit like, because trust me, it felt even better in person. That night, I texted Derek. Me. What happens if a trespasser's property is on my land? Derek, it's evidence. You're not responsible for it. Just don't damage it. Me. Perfect. For the first time in weeks, I slept easy. The next morning, I opened my door to find a new envelope taped to it. Same yellow paper. Same smug handwriting. Failure to comply with HOA cooperation standards. Additional fine, $150. I laughed out loud. She was doubling down. Because when someone parks in your space, sometimes the best move isn't to push back. It's to quietly close the door and let karma idle in the dark. By the 3rd day, her Lexus was still sitting there. Engine cold, ego warm. I was working in the yard when I saw Karen strut down the sidewalk in heels too high for physics. Clipboard, phone, sunglasses, classic HOA armor. "Jake," she called. "Your garage seems to be locked. My vehicle's inside. I didn't even look up." "Yeah, weird how that happened." She blinked. "Unlock it," I shrugged. "I'm on shift for the next 2 weeks. Safety policy. Garage stays locked while I'm gone." Her jaw tightened. "That's my property, and this is my land," I said, calm as a Sunday sermon. "You're trespassing. If that exchange hit your satisfaction button, hit like right now, because nothing tastes better than calm confidence in the face of crazy." She tried threatening legal action. I asked her which clause gave her the right to store personal property in someone else's garage. Silence. Then she spun and stomped away, muttering something about community discipline. That night, I texted my neighbor Tom, a retired Marine with a home security hobby. "Need a few cameras set up, just in case." Within an hour, we had motion sensors inside and out. Every inch covered. Cloud backup ready. If she tried anything, I'd have the footage. And the proof. The next morning, Karen taped another violation notice to my door. This one had a bonus, a $300 fine for obstruction of community cooperation. I took a photo, smiled and whispered, "Thanks," Exhibit C. Because the next time Karen touched that garage, she wasn't just breaking rules, right? She was breaking the law. Derek called that afternoon. Buddy, you're gonna love this. Just got the county maps back. You know that garage she keeps harassing you over? Yeah, it's completely outside HOA jurisdiction. Their map's outdated. You own every inch. I almost dropped my phone. You're kidding. Nope. Your deed trumps their plat. She's barking up the wrong legal tree. If that moment made you grin, tap like 'cause few things beat finding out the law's on your side. That evening, I printed the documents, slipped them into a binder, and labeled it in case of Karen break glass. Meanwhile, Tom sent me clips from his cameras. Karen pacing my driveway at 6 a.m., trying her garage opener like a burglar with a manicure. I forwarded everything to Derek. He laughed so hard I could hear him choking through the phone. She's committing trespass on film, he said. Don't confront her, just keep collecting. So I did. I kept mowing my lawn, waved politely every time she passed. That calm? It made her twitch. 2 days later, an HOA emergency board meeting notice appeared in everyone's mailbox. Same day, same time. No agenda. Oh, she was going to try something. Tom grinned when he saw the flyer. You going? Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world, I said. Because when someone builds their empire on fake authority, it only takes one truth to bring it crashing down. The community center smelled like burnt coffee and tension. Karen sat dead center at a folding table, 2 loyal sidekicks beside her, both looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Meeting called to order, she announced. We have a major violation threatening property values. She turned to me. Jake, care to explain your repeated refusal to cooperate? I stood up, binder in hand. Actually, I brought something to share. Her smile froze. I opened the binder. Property maps, bylaws, timestamps, photos of her Lexus in my garage. Every paper stacked like ammunition. Funny thing, I said. According to county records, my garage isn't part of HOA jurisdiction. Meaning every fine you've sent me? Invalid. The room went still. One of her board members whispered, Wait, what? Karen's voice cracked. That's not accurate. Sure it is, I said, flipping another page. And since your insurance lapsed last year, you're personally liable for any damages caused by board overreach. Someone in the back let out a low whistle. If you felt that power shift, comment boom because the air in that room changed. Her allies stopped nodding. One quietly slid her nameplate aside. Karen's face turned the color of old wallpaper. This meeting is adjourned, she stammered. But I wasn't done. Oh, and Karen, I said, your car is still in my garage. You might want to call your insurance company before the cameras do. She left without another word. And just like that, the HOA's untouchable queen lost her crown. But I didn't know yet that was just round 1. The real fireworks were about to start. 2 days after that meeting, I filed my vacation notice at work and started packing. Derek's voice still rang in my ear. Walk away for a bit. Let her show who she really is. So I did. Emma and I threw a tent, fishing poles, and a week's worth of snacks in the truck. Tom promised to keep an eye on the place. By the time we hit the county line, I could almost feel the stress slide off my shoulders. Back home, though, the cameras were catching a different story. Karen pacing my driveway at dawn. Karen trying the keypad. Karen whisper yelling into her phone, waving a stack of papers like magic spells. Tom texted a screenshot to my satellite messenger. She's losing it. If you've ever stepped back and watched a bully self-destruct, hit like, it's wild. By day 3, she was calling locksmiths, claiming an electrical hazard. Tom caught the whole thing on camera. The locksmith took one look at her fake HOA badge and left, shaking his head. On day 4, she called the cops, said my garage might contain unsafe equipment. Officer Martinez showed up, took one look at the video feed and laughed. Lady, you locked yourself out of your own arrogance, he told her. I was roasting marshmallows with my daughter when that text came through. For the first time in months, I felt peace, but Karen wasn't done. She was just switching from crazy to criminal. Tom called next morning. Buddy, she hired somebody. Big guy, bolt cutters, no clue. The cameras caught it all. Broad daylight, trying to slice through my padlock like it was a movie scene. Tom stepped out with his phone rolling. "Need a permit for that, Chief?" The guy froze. "Karen sent me. Said emergency HOA order." 2 minutes later, blue lights filled the street. Officer Martinez again. He recognized the guy, shook his head, and asked the million-dollar question. "So, Karen paid you cash to break in?" The man nodded before the cuffs even clicked. "If that justice made you grin, comment karma right now." Within hours, word spread. Neighbors came out with their own stories, fines, threats, fake safety inspections. Mrs. Patel had receipts. Tom had videos. The whole street was done being quiet. By sunset, local news vans were parked at the end of the block. The headline practically wrote itself. HOA treasurer under investigation for trespass and fraud. I read the update from a campground picnic table, wind in the trees, Emma roasting another marshmallow. "Daddy," she said, "are we the good guys?" "Yeah, kiddo," I said. Finally. And just when it looked like the story couldn't get any bigger, the state got involved. The Attorney General's office called Derek first. They'd seen the footage, the fake fines, the money trail from HOA accounts to Karen's staging business. Search warrants dropped faster than summer rain. At 6 a.m., cameras rolled as officers boxed up files from Karen's McMansion. She came out in a bathrobe screaming about community cooperation. Brad, her husband, the city planner, was led out of his office the same day, head down, hands cuffed. If poetic justice makes your morning coffee taste better, share this one. Turns out they'd been running a county-wide scam. Identify working-class homeowners, bury them in fake violations, pressure them to sell below value, flip the houses through her company. 12 neighborhoods, dozens of families, millions skimmed. My locked garage stunt had accidentally cracked open organized fraud. Neighbors started thanking me like I'd done something heroic. Truth is, I just wanted my space back. That night, I stood in my driveway watching the news replay. Karen's Lexus being towed out of my garage, police lights flashing. I almost felt sorry for her, almost. But the real payoff wasn't the arrest, it was what came next when I finally drove home. When I turned onto my street, I thought there was a block party going on. News vans, neighbors everywhere. Kids on bikes pointing at my garage like it was a landmark. Tom waved me over, grinning. "You picked a good week to come back." The police tape still fluttered where they'd pulled Karen's Lexus out. It looked small now, dusty under the morning sun, like arrogance deflated. Reporters came running. "Mister, are you the homeowner?" "Yep," I said calm. "All I wanted was to use my own garage. If that line made you smile, hit like. That's the kind of truth you don't have to rehearse." They filmed a segment right there in Mrs. Patel's yard. The headline read, "Electrician exposes HOA corruption through patience and proof." Inside my garage, the air smelled like sawdust again instead of perfume. My tools were right where they belonged. I just stood there a while, breathing it in. Emma ran in behind me, hair flying. "Daddy, the mean lady's gone." I laughed. "Yep, the neighborhood's ours again." Neighbors started showing up one by one. Tom, Mrs. Patel, even folks I'd never met. Someone brought coffee, someone else cookies. It wasn't a victory parade, but it felt like one. Karen's house sat dark and empty at the end of the street, a for sale sign swinging in the wind. But this story didn't end with her leaving, it started with us rebuilding. 6 months later, the neighborhood looked different. Not fancier. Freer. Tom got voted HOA president by unanimous vote. Mrs. Patel became treasurer, the kind who actually smiles. Every rule, every expense now lives online where everyone can see it. Property values went up because peace has a price tag too. And me? I used my settlement money to start the Willow Creek Homeowner Defense Fund, free legal help for anyone bullied by their HOA. Derek offered his time pro bono. Tom set up cameras for anyone who asked. Even Emma helped design the logo, a little house with a padlock and a smiley face. If that comeback made you proud, share this story. Someone out there needs to know they're not powerless. We threw a neighborhood cookout called Garage Door Day. Kids drew chalk art that said "No More Karens." Emma wrote one line in big letters. Be kind. Or stay out. I couldn't have said it better myself. But the real lesson wasn't about rules or revenge, it was about knowing your worth. You know what I learned through all this? That sometimes standing up for yourself starts with something small like a locked door. I didn't win because I yelled louder. I won because I kept calm, kept proof, and didn't let fear make my decisions. And maybe that's the part you needed to hear today. Because bullies come in every form, bosses, neighbors, even whole boards, but they all have one weakness, the truth. If this story hit home, drop a comment with your own experience. Someone scrolling through might see it and realize they're not alone. And if you want more stories about real people taking their power back, subscribe, we've got plenty more where this came from. Emma still asks about Karen sometimes. I just tell her, sweetheart, not every villain gets a sequel. Then we head out to her treehouse built exactly 18 inches past where Karen once claimed my property ended. She hangs a sign on the rope ladder every time. Good vibes only, simple rule. One every neighborhood could use. Because when you protect what's yours with patience, proof, and heart, you don't just close a garage door. You open a better story.